Well, hello there everybody. My name's Nigel Worth and I'm the leader of Hope Church Thetford, and I'd like to welcome you all to the first of a series of videos together that we've entitled So You're a Bit Curious About God. Now, I realise this is a video, but I really hope that these times are quite personal together. Many of you watching will know me already or will know about me through family and friends. Maybe some of you watching have just clicked onto the Hope Church Thetford website or Facebook page, and wherever you come from, it's great to be with you now. So these are strange times we live in, even unique times we live in right now, aren't they? And like you, I have no idea when these times are going to be over or what the world's going to look like when these times are over. But what I am convinced about, speaking as an ordinary Christian guy, is that this planet and even our lives are under God. They're of God. And without wanting to sound disrespectful at all to the many people who've been suffering so horribly during this time, I believe that many of us have been shaken out of our normal harum-scarum lives and have been given some time to reflect. Reflect about life. What is our life? What are our lives all about? And in particular, is there a God? And can we connect with him to our good? And that's what I want to give all of us a chance to do over the next few weeks. So today is an introductory talk that we've entitled, Is There More to Life Than This? And then over the coming videos, we'll be looking first of all at the Bible, saying this is the primary source of truth, but can we trust it? If not, if the answer is no, then we might as well pack up and go home now. Oops, we are already at home. Sorry about that. Then we're going to get to the heart of Christianity. We're going to look at Jesus Christ. How do his death on the cross and the Christian claim that he rose again from the dead, how do these things connect with our lives today? Then we're going to look at the work of God's Holy Spirit today, and we're going to focus in on a particular ministry of God's Spirit. That's to say, healing. And then we're going to have a final time together by way of a wrap-up. So thanks again for being with us, and let's get going. Now, a few years ago, I was a teenager. Yes, really. And I need to tell you that I would have run a mile rather than get involved in something like this. You see, I thought I got religion, and Christianity in particular, worked out, even at the age of 12. My parents used to take me along to church until I was about 12, and then after that they let me stay at home. They listened to my protests and I was able to stay at home because I decided that Christianity was simply part of the culture of this country. That's all there was to it. It's what the middle classes in particular used to do in this country. They would dress up in their smart clothes once a week. They'd go to church on a Sunday, they'd say sorry for their sins, and then they'd go away and do it all again. And so the cycle would repeat itself. And it just seemed to me to be not only very boring, but very hypocritical as well. Was any of it true? Well, it did seem to centre on events that happened a long time ago. So I'd spend my teenage days, Sundays, kicking a ball about, or eventually doing my school homework. Feeling a bit sorry, I think, for my church-going parents. And yet, by the time I reached 18 and I left home for university, having drunk copious amounts of beer in my teenage years with my friends, and expecting to do much of the same when I moved north to Sheffield, I knew that deep down there was actually something missing. I knew that. I was aware of that. Was life really about just drinking with friends? Trying to find a girlfriend? Always quite a difficult thing for me to do. Getting a degree? Making enough money to be able to live comfortably? These were questions. And here's another one. Who is this man? Yep, it's Russell Brand. And he once said this: drugs and alcohol are not my problem. Reality is my problem. Drugs and alcohol are my solution to fill up a hole inside of me. Well, that hole was very true of me at the age of 18. Empty inside, hungry inside. It's like we've got two stomachs that can both be hungry. Here's one of mine. I think you can just see it. I lean back a bit. There we are. Perhaps a tad too big. And this stomach is designed to take in food and drink, to keep my body going, basically. But we've all got a second stomach as well. And I think many people around are walking around hungry and thirsty for their spiritual stomachs to be filled up. They know that there's a hole there, just like I did. I went away to Sheffield and immediately threw myself into a lot of activities at university. I was part of my Hall of Residence drinking team. I played cricket for the university. I made some new friends. So there was a lot of activity going on around my studies, which I also did a little bit of the time as well. There was a lot of activity, but that hole in my life just wouldn't go away. Jesus Christ once said something interesting and relevant to anyone feeling like me at the age of 18. He said, "I am the bread of life." I'll fill the hunger in that second stomach, and as I'll explain in a moment, he did that for me. To help to see how he could do that, let's look more closely at another claim that Jesus made. He not only said he was the bread of life, he also claimed to be the way, the truth, and the life. The way, the truth, and the life. I mean, wow, these are just huge claims, aren't they? Huge claims. Let's look at each one. So first of all, he said that he was the way, giving direction to a lost world. I think it's fair to say that many people around us are lost, don't you think? I mean, when you look at the news, don't you think we live in a lost world? There's wars, terrorism, injustice, poverty, the pollution, the eco stuff, and that's before COVID-19 came on the scene to add to the mess. I mean, there's just so much that's wrong with the world. Don't you agree? Isn't there? Just wrong. If our world started to do things right, if only our world started to do things right, what a different place it would be. Well, our world could start by acknowledging Jesus as the way. But so many people don't. They either don't know or they don't care. Jesus described the people he lived amongst as being like lost sheep without a shepherd. Now, one of the most brilliant showbiz performers in my time was this man. Yeah, it's Freddie Mercury. Such a talented man and a brilliant showman. He died at the age of 1991. And in one of the last songs he wrote, he had these lyrics. Does anyone know what we're living for? He'd amassed a fortune and had thousands of fans. But in an interview shortly before his death, he admitted that he was desperately lonely. He said these words: "You can have everything in the world and still be the loneliest man. And that's the most bitter type of loneliness. Success has brought me world idolization and millions of pounds, but it's prevented me from having the one thing we all need, a loving, ongoing relationship. And as we'll see, that is what Christianity is all about. It's not just about having another world religion for people to choose if they want. It's about discovering that you can have a real relationship with God, whether you're grown up or whether you're a bit younger. And that's what I didn't realise as a teenager, when I thought Christianity was just part of the culture of this country. Jesus said that he is the way into a relationship with God, our Maker. So, Jesus said that I am the way. Secondly, he also said that I am the truth, giving reality to a confused world. I think we all know that our world is increasingly confused about what is true and what is not true, what is right and what is not right about life. But does it really matter what we believe is the truth, as long as we're sincere? We live in an age where we're clearly happy to tolerate any sincerely held belief as long as it doesn't hurt anybody. If it's true for you, people say, that's all that matters really. So people have said to me before now, Nigel, I'm so pleased that Christianity works for you, that living as a Christian is your thing. Really pleased for you. It's just not for me. Thank you very much. It's just not my thing. Now, hold it. Just hold on a second. You may have heard that said yourself. But I want to ask the question, does that sort of statement stack up logically? That may be your truth, it's just not my truth. Jesus said that I am the way, the truth, and the life, and no one comes to the Father except by me. Now, a statement like that is either true or it's not true. If it's true, then it's true for everybody. And if it's false, then it's false for everyone. That would be bad news for me, but it would be false. Because one thing's for sure, what happens to me when I die doesn't depend on what I happen to be believing at the time. It depends on what is actually true about life and death. This man is one of my favourite writers. It's called C.S. Lewis, and he wrote the Narnia books that we've seen on film, and you may have read the books as well. And he was also a brilliant Christian writer. He wrote this: if Christianity is false, then it is of no importance. And if it's true, it's of infinite importance. The one thing it can't be is moderately important. Yeah. So is it true? Is the Christian faith actually really true? Well, at this stage, I just want to say two things. The first thing is this: you don't throw your brains away when you become a Christian. No one is asking you simply to take this on trust. Why did you become a Christian? Well, because Nigel said so. No. Everyone needs to take a good hard look at the evidence. For example, that Jesus Christ died on a cross and 3 days later rose again from the dead. There is evidence to support both events, and they need to be looked at carefully. We just need to take the trouble to have a close look. The second thing I want to say is that what we're talking about here is more than just head knowledge. That's just intellectual truth, saying in your head, okay, I think this could be true. But truth is more than that. Truth has to be experienced as well. We need to have heart knowledge as well as head knowledge. Let me give you an example, a very homely example. Now, I've been married to Glenda for 36 years now. Now, suppose before we get married, I wanted to find out about her. So suppose I was able to get hold of a book. And the book was entitled Glenda, the Amazing Woman. Chapter 1 was all about her lovely personality. Chapter 2 was all about her good taste in men. Oh yes. Chapter 3 about her potential to be a long-suffering wife. Chapter 4 was all about her sporting achievements. It was quite a thin chapter, I think we'd all agree. Well, I come to the end of the book and I think, wow, that's just one amazing woman. But that's only head knowledge. Now, 36 years later, I can tell you she is an amazing woman. Definitely. But that comes out of a relationship I've had with her for 36 years. We've been living together all that time. Heart knowledge as well as head knowledge. The truth experienced as well as the truth worked out, decided upon up here. Jesus said, I am the truth. You can investigate the truth. I hope you really will. But there's really only one way to actually know that he is true. And it's to get to know him. So, Jesus said, I am the truth. And thirdly, he said, I am the life, giving life in a dark world. If you'd said to me in my teenage years that when my only experience of Christianity were those church services of my youth, I'd have laughed. Christianity and life in the same sentence. Funny. The living dead, more like. But at the age of 19, I did ask Jesus into my life as my saviour and my king. I mean, there's a backstory to all of that. I'm not going to go into it now, but feel free to ask me if you're interested. But it was all about him being the answer to that second stomach that we've got, that I was talking about earlier. So one evening, with a few Christian friends around, I asked Jesus into my life. I prayed a very simple prayer to him. It was basically, I'm sorry, God. Then, thank you, God. And then, please, God. I'll go into it in a little more detail in the next talk. And that night, I can remember going to bed on a real high. It seemed like I'd really met with the living Jesus, and that his spirit was now living within me. I felt great. I felt clean inside. Jesus was surely now in my life. But I remember a little voice in my head saying to me, okay, you feel good now, but just wait till the morning. It'll just be the same old, same old. You see. Well, I did wake up the next morning, and I knew that something life-changing had happened. Now, I'm not normally great in the mornings, as my wife will tell you, but that morning it was like a light had been switched on. Jesus had given me new life, and I knew it. Now, I didn't know then about the phrase being born again, but that morning it really felt like I was starting a new life. Well, that was a long time ago, but that's when I first discovered Jesus to be the life for me. I've been walking as a Christian ever since, but if I'm being honest with you, I have to tell you that becoming a Christian, yeah, it will give you a new life, but it won't give you a nice, easy ride in life. I think I'd have had a more comfortable life if I'd stayed as a non-believer. I definitely agree with this man. Again, you might recognise him, certainly people of my age. This is the old rock star Alice Cooper, and he said this about his Christian conversion. It hasn't been easy combining religion and rock. It's the most rebellious thing I've ever done. Drinking beer is easy. Trashing your hotel room is easy. But being a Christian, that's a tough call. That's real rebellion. Well, that's me about done for this video. We've only just started this, so please do tune in again next time, in a few days' time. I can promise you this, that as I'm speaking here, no one is looking to sell you a pup, and no one is being dishonest with you. I've tried to be honest with you about some of the events of my past life in this particular video. It's my conviction, though, that Jesus is the way and the truth and the life. He is the reason why we're here. He shows us how to live life well, and also how we can relate to God, both now and forever. And so that gap inside of us, that hungry second stomach that everyone has got, can be wonderfully filled, just as mine has been now for many years. Is there more to life than this? My conviction is yes, most definitely. Well, no one's going to ask you to become a Christian straight away. Of course you can if you want to. If you say to me, Nigel, just stop all the talk, I just want what you've got, well, you can have it straight away. There's no problem there. But I guess most of you are going to want some time to think about all of this before you decide to take things any further. And of course that is fair enough. Every week at the end of this, I'm going to put my contact details up on the screen. So please feel free to get in touch with me if you've got any questions about what I've said, or if you'd like me to help you in this in any way further that I can. And of course you can also post a comment on this page. If you're looking on Facebook, please feel free to make comments. It's entirely up to you how you do this. So thanks for listening, everyone. We're going to be posting one of these videos every Sunday and Wednesday for the next 4 weeks. So, hope to see you again soon. Thank you very much.